Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Nursing Dose with your host, Dr. Farah Laurent. Today, I want to talk to you about why, as nurses, we're highly educated, or some of us highly educated, but still highly underpaid. All right. I want to talk to you about wealth building, how to shift your mindset, and what is really keeping you stuck. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. I have 5 tips that I want to cover. And if you missed my previous live, go check out my previous live earlier today on YouTube or LinkedIn. I was talking about my journey to entrepreneurship. For those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Farah Laurent. I've been a nurse for 20 years, started out in the emergency department, moved into education, held multiple roles in education, and moved on to some educator roles in leadership. I was the director of education, associate dean, and then moved into entrepreneurship. So currently, I'm a nurse career coach. I'm a speaker, podcaster, and a conference host. I'm the conference host of Nurses Making Business Moves. It's really a whole movement that I've created around teaching nurses and other entrepreneurs how to really build wealth through community building. And really, entrepreneurship is really the way to go for a lot of nurses these days. And I'm calling it the silent revolution because so many nurses are actually starting businesses. And I think since COVID, there's been a massive amount of nurses who are now going into entrepreneurship, consulting, being coaches, having service-based businesses, and then also selling products, writing books, being speakers, all different types. And then, of course, there's private practices and telehealth, and also events and different things like that, digital products, aesthetics, med spas, the list goes on. So anyways, I wanted to come on and quickly share a couple of things that I thought were true as a new nurse, and quickly found out that it was not. So obviously, this is entitled Highly Educated, but Still Highly Underpaid. So obviously we go into nursing because we love, being of service to the community, helping people, and all the things. But we also have to realize that we also have to help ourselves. Not only are we getting advanced degrees, which we're investing so much money into. Some of us are investing $50,000, $100,000 or more into these programs. And again, don't get me wrong, I am pro education. I have a master's in education, a doctorate in organizational leadership, a DNP. I'm all for education. But what I'm saying is there has to be more than just education. So many nurses think in order to advance in their career or in order to get promoted or get more money, the answer is getting another degree or getting another certification. And that is not necessarily true. Getting another degree or getting another certification will not help you make more money in some cases. Automatically, people think, oh, I'm going to get a doctorate or I'm going to get a master's. It's going to help me make a tremendous more amount of money than I'm currently making. And in fact, that is not true. Yes, some people might get a little bit of a raise, but it's not that significant. If you think about it, the amount that you invest into these programs are so massive that you're really not making that much more. In fact, most nurses are getting advanced degrees, more certifications, only to work more hours and get paid less. So that's why I want you to flip your thinking and think about how you can actually work a little bit less and actually make a little bit more money. And it's not always about, going back and getting multiple advanced degrees. So many people reach out to me. Actually, recently, a couple people reached out and they said, hey, should I go back and get a doctorate or go back and be a nurse practitioner? And they're not really sure. They're lacking clarity. They think that's the next best thing to do is just go and get, a nurse practitioner degree. or a doctorate, but they don't really know what the next path is. So let's get into it. And if you guys are, let me know where you guys are watching from, what city, what country, drop it in the chat. And also, if you haven't heard, I mentioned the conference. If you haven't heard about the conference, Nurses Making Business Moves Conference is happening in Tampa, Florida on March 6th and 7th. And I'm going to drop it in the chat. Nurses Making Business Moves.com. And you can actually go there and get your tickets now. Or learn more about the conference. Also, if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the chat. If you're watching the replay, same thing. Any comments or questions, you can drop it in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to go through 3 things right now. Number 1, degrees obviously increase your credentials. It increases your knowledge. You do have more skills and you build up more, more knowledge and more credentials, right? But more credentials, more alphabets behind your name doesn't necessarily always equal, a promotion or more income, right? So visibility increases income. That's definitely one thing that we've seen. There's a lot of nurses that are getting brand deals. Visibility can increase promotion and position you for success. So that's one thing that I want everybody to kind of start realizing, that it's not just increased degrees and certifications and increased credentials does not equate, wealth and increased income. Okay, so especially for those that are constantly working, putting their head down and not advocating for promotions or not articulating their value, particularly even in interviews, they're not getting, promoted and not getting the job. So, and I think this is what nursing school teaches us sometimes, because we think, oh, we're just going to work hard and someone's going to notice it and automatically promote us. Well, nothing really happens automatically. A lot of times in these hospital systems or even in academia, you have to prove particularly why you should be up for promotion. And you have to perhaps do a project or, prove that you are worth getting the promotion. But, visibility helps with that. If you're constantly visible, articulating your value, then it's going to help you increase your income, okay? So let me know if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. Okay, number 2, nursing school does teach you competence, teaches you psychomotor skills, teaches you, pathways, if you have chest pain, you do this, but nobody teaches you positioning, especially in nursing school. So that's why I became a nurse career coach. So many new nurses still till this day are being told that they can't start in the ICU or they can't start in the emergency department or, labor and delivery, and they have to settle for med surg. Or they tell them, hey, you have to wait 2 years and then you can go and do what you want. But I don't agree with that. I believe that if you position yourself correctly, you can get what you want. And that's what I've done. I've helped over 200 nurses, new graduate nurses, land specialty positions in ICU, ED, labor and delivery, and I'm helping them get these jobs in less than 12 weeks. So it's all about positioning and how you're branding and articulating your value. So nursing school doesn't teach this because they're focused on passing the NCLEX and they don't have enough time to insert all that stuff in their curriculum. So this is why I create content like this, and I'm teaching new graduate nurses how to position themselves for success. And really it all starts with mindset. So the number 1 tip is communication. You have to learn communication skills and be able to articulate your value. Number two, learn how to attract opportunities. And again, that's about positioning, being in the right rooms, being connected with the right people, and making things happen and going to, to different conferences and things like that so that you can attract more opportunities. Creating content has been something that definitely has helped attract opportunities for many nurses, including myself. I've gotten invited to speak at many conferences, panels about entrepreneurship and branding. And then you have to be seen as a subject matter expert. You have to be seen as the asset. Okay, so that's number two. And let me know if you guys have any questions. I see TikTok is here. And again, if you're a new nurse watching this, I have a free webinar that's happening this Thursday at 1 p.m. The link is in the bio on LinkedIn, and then link is in the bio on TikTok. But for everybody else, you can simply just go to newnursejob.com. And in this workshop, I will break down everything you need to know about positioning and branding, and I share my frameworks and strategies on how you can get hired faster. So that is a free training and webinar for new nurses. So I highly recommend that you go and sign up for that. All right, and if you're just joining me, basically I'm talking about so many nurses reach out to me and ask me, hey, I'm thinking about getting my master's or going back to school to get my nurse practitioner, or I want to get a doctorate. What do you think? And it's not really a simple answer. It really depends on what your goals are, what you want to do, what lifestyle you want to live. Do you have a family? Do you want to work remotely, or do you like working in the hospital? There's a lot of factors involved, right? But basically, a lot of nurses are feeling like they're undervalued. They feel underpaid. So this is why I'm creating this content. And I invite you to also join my conference, Nurses Making Business Moves in Tampa, because this conference is especially designed for you if you lack clarity, you don't know what your next step is, you're not sure if you want to start a business, you maybe thought about it, or you just want to learn how to take the next step in your career and how to position yourself for success to get promoted, and then really design the life that you want to start building wealth and learn how to make, have extra streams of income. Okay, let me know if you guys have any comments or questions. So just to get back on track, number one was degrees increase credentials, but visibility actually increases income. And then number two, nursing school teaches you competence and how to pass the NCLEX, but it doesn't teach you really necessarily how to position yourself for success, how to build a brand, and how to articulate your value so that you could attract opportunities, and how to be visible, right? Doesn't teach you that. So that's why I'm here, creating this content, building spaces, creating events such as the Nurses Making Business Moves Conference, where nurses can be in a community with other nurses who are like-minded, wanting to make an impact, build something bigger, and create and generate income on their own with multiple streams of income. And you don't necessarily have to quit your job. Actually, I don't recommend you do that. You could still work part-time or work full-time while building your business on the side. Number three, right? Another degree does not automatically give you leverage. We talked about this. Leverage comes from building a personal brand, building your network, working on your, reputation, and really building a community and an audience, right? So podcasting is a great way to do that, such as I'm doing now, and creating content, and also creating events, okay? And then also speaking is another great way to do this. You can speak locally or nationally, or, there's opportunities to speak really internationally. And that is a way to get your message across to wide audiences, to really start building a personal brand and building an audience. Okay? So that means, like, let's say you want to write a book in a year or something like that. If you start creating content, building an audience that supports you, and you talk about the journey of your book, why you're writing the book, the purpose of it, the storytelling behind it, people will be more in tune to support you when your book does come out. Instead of just, if you don't create any content, nobody even knows you're writing a book. And then all of a sudden, your book gets published and you're like, hey, I have this book, please support. Right. So, you definitely want to start building a brand, creating content where you give value to others and speak on topics that are important to you and to your audience, obviously. Okay. And then number 4, nurses don't have an education problem, right? Nurses love to learn. Like I said, we're highly educated. We have multiple degrees, some of us, a lot of certifications. But what we have is a monetization issue. Most nurses don't know how to monetize their expertise and how to monetize their intellectual property. Many nurses often are asked to consult, to be a consultant, and they're doing it for free without getting paid. So if you can have a business model around being a consultant and you're an expert, let's say you're an expert in labor and delivery or women's health, let's say, and then you constantly get asked to consult on different topics or, something like that. Or maybe you're a simulation expert. You're really good at simulation. You've run simulation programs. You're CHESI certified. And some schools need simulation experts. Well, now you can take your expertise in simulation, create a business model where you go into different schools and now you help them with their simulation program and you charge a specific fee, right? But in order to do that, you need to be visible and you need to create a product or service that you put out there that people know what you do. And part of that, again, is brand building, visibility on social media and in person, going to events, hence, such as like the Nurses Making Business Moves conference. Well, you'll be in touch with other experts, other nurses, other entrepreneurs. And it's really a community where everyone is supporting each other. Last conference, everybody was, getting on each other's podcasts to promote, what they were doing and talking about topics that were important to them. So, you already have the expertise, you have the experience. You just have to start taking your stories, experience, expertise, and packaging it and positioning it in a way where people see the value, they see the intellectual property, and then you start monetizing, right? You start making money off of what you already know. And you're not constantly trading your time for money. Traditionally, we're taught, hey, you go to nursing school, you work an 8-hour shift or a 12-hour shift, you trade your time for money. But if you package your intellectual property and your expertise in a way, such as consulting, you can create a package where it's the same thing you're teaching to all these, let's say, different schools that want to build up their simulation program. And you go in, you present the same topic, because you just have to create it once. And then let's say that's the business model, and you go and help them build out their simulation program, but you don't charge hourly. You charge them with whatever package they need. Let's say it's a done for you where you're going in and teaching the faculty and setting it up with them. Then you would teach them, you would price it on a different level. If it's just like a licensing model where you're like, here, take this and it's a plug and play. Here's the content. Here's the step-by-step, almost like an SOP, like a manual. They take it and they implement it. You could still charge them something for it. But guess what? You're not there actually implementing, trading your time. So I hope this is making sense. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the chat. And then the last one, number 5, is the real gap isn't knowledge. Nurses are wealthy in the knowledge gap, in the knowledge aspect, right? The issue is access and positioning. You need access to specific rooms, specific decision makers, collaborators, opportunities, right? And you need to position yourself to be around those decision makers, collaborators, and put yourself out there, whether it's creating social media content, going to conferences, being a keynote speaker, whatever that looks like, creating a business model where you can get contracts and start going to schools or whatever your business model looks like so that you can actually start monetizing. But before you monetize, you need access to those specific decision makers and then potential clients and things like that, right? And degrees don't give you that. It's positioning, it's brand building, it's connecting, building a network, building an audience, and being in the right rooms, right? So again, this is why I invite you to come to the Nurses Making Business Moves Conference. This room, you will see how they're nurses, entrepreneurs that are teaching you how they've started their business, how they scaled their business, some of them to 7 million in revenue. And you can ask them questions in real time that you don't have to, go search up on Google, because you're actually going right to the source. And that's access to proximity, being right there in the room to people where you can ask questions to. So really the end is you can keep collecting degrees and certifications, but which is fine because again, I'm pro education. I really believe in education. Like I said, I myself got a master's and a doctorate. All I'm saying is, in addition to that, learn other skills outside of nursing that'll improve your growth in your career. Or if you do want to start a business, it'll also help you grow in your business. And I'm talking about marketing skills, communication skills, sales. All those types of things will help you and help you build a brand and learn how to create content. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a big creator economy. I think they're like saying it's like $1 trillion. They're doing live shopping and different things like that on TikTok, and it's projected to make so much money. So, even if I've seen nurses out there get brand deals with scrub companies, different things like that. And if you think about it, nurses are constantly voted the number one trusted profession year after year. So let's say you want to be a content creator, maybe you want to start a podcast, or you want to do brand partnerships. You can make a pretty good amount of income, and that could be another income stream if you are partnering with brands that you believe in. And obviously, if the audience knows you're a nurse, they see you consistently, you're creating content, and they trust you, they will buy from that brand if you're promoting that brand. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Again, quickly, the big takeaways from this is, yes, I really believe you should continue your education, but also look outside of nursing to gather more skills that are business savvy, business related, marketing, sales, communication, and really positioning yourself for success, and also branding. And this is what the Nurses Making Business Moves Conference is going to do. It's going to take all those topics. There's experts that will discuss each topic, and then you'll have the opportunity to engage, ask questions, and be in the room with collaborators, experts, and subject matter experts. There's attendees that are coming from Canada. Last year, there was attendees that came from 20 different states, and even there are people really internationally that are looking to attend the conference. So it's not just a conference, it's really a movement to learn more about business. Financial literacy is important, and just to think beyond the bedside. So even this is open, even if you're a student, you don't necessarily have to be in business to attend. You can have a business idea, or maybe you just want to come and be surrounded with other nurses, leaders, and entrepreneurs. This is the conference for you. Again, March 6th and 7th, Tampa, Florida. Go to Nurses Making Business Moves to find out more. I have a special offer, a special ticket link. If you message me in the comments, if you watch this, you message me business moves, I will send you the special link. It ends tomorrow at midnight, and it's special pricing for the conference that ends tomorrow at midnight. So put business moves if you're interested. Make sure we're connected, and I'll send you the specific link so that you can get your ticket. And this will be a one-time offer, and it ends at midnight tomorrow. Okay, who's the LinkedIn user? Not really sure who it is because I don't see the name. But again, thank you for watching. And if you are a new nurse, because I know it's NCLEX season, a lot of you are looking for nurse residency programs, check out my YouTube channel, The Nursing Dose with Farah, and come to my free webinar this Thursday. The link is in the bio on TikTok, and the link is in the bio on LinkedIn. If you don't have that, just go to newnursejob.com and you can sign up for the webinar. It's free. Once you sign up, you'll get an email and you'll register for the Zoom. There's limited space, so I would sign up now. All right, and then again, if you have any comments or questions, drop them in the chat. And very soon, actually, I will start announcing the pitch competition finalists, so look out for that. And look out for more lives. I'll be going live every single day for the next few days. So if you happen to miss a live, just catch the replay on LinkedIn or YouTube. And if you have any questions whatsoever about my free webinar for new grads, send me a direct message on LinkedIn. Or if you have any questions about the conference, same thing, direct message me on LinkedIn. All right, thank you for watching. Until next time.